Here's the external hard drive. It's getting on. It's very dusty actually. I'll have to sort that out. Oh dear. So it's got it's not hot swap. It's a nice little form factor. I quite like it. The front bit opens up and you've got the drives in there. As I say, it's not a hot swap device at all. It's a bit weird, but it works quite nicely, and it's been pretty robust. At the back of it, you've got USB, and you've got eSATA, and you select the mode. So I've currently got it on mirroring. So at the moment, I've got two terabyte drives, and it writes as data comes in. It writes the bytes to both drives, and then does checking. So you can have it as standard. So that means you have separate drives. You can combine the drives, so they're bigger. You can stripe it, or you can mirror it. I don't want to do striping because there's only two, and that kind of only makes sense if you have three or more. Anyway, it's not very well. It's not very well at all. It's not even started up. There we go. And that's starting up fine, and the fan is fine. Of course it is. Of course it is. Normally, as you heard earlier, the thing goes, makes horrible noises. So we got to replace the fan. So let's take a look inside and see. It's also a bit rusty there. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think it was stored in the garage for a while. But anyway, so that comes off like that. There's a couple of those nice 2 terabyte Western Digital WD Green drives, and there's not much else in there. It's very, very light in terms of tech, but I found it reliable. It just works. It's really good. But there are times when the fan is just ridiculous. It's so noisy, and it stays noisy for a few minutes. It's quite off-putting. And of course, if the fan did fail, I don't think there's any alarms or anything like that. Potentially it could just sit there and cook itself. To be fair, these are external drives, and I'm not even sure it really needs a fan. It's kind of a bit over the top. It's nice to have, but it's perhaps pointless. Let me just unplug that a minute. Let's see how this is put together. Okay, so there's a little header in there. And there's the fan. Okay, so it looks like a fairly standard fan, but they've got a nice little clip mechanism on there to mount it. So I guess that comes off, and that's how they mount on this side. Oh, that's a bit weird. Why do they even need that? Because that goes that way. Can't think why they would need that. I mean, it's nice. I suppose it protects you from zapping your fingers if you sort of poke around in there, but I kind of think that's a bit superfluous. But you can see it's pretty horrible. And if I wiggle it, I can feel the bearing is not great. It's actually not as bad as I thought. Oh yeah, there we go. You can feel it's like clunking as you sort of rotate and wiggle like that. And if you do that sort of thing, and you make a terrible mess on the desk, and you can see that it doesn't spin very freely. It's stopping quite quickly, and there's a slight wobbly graunch you can feel in your fingers. Anyway, so I need to get a replacement one of those fans. Getting one with this connector, well, I'll probably have to just chop it off and solder a different one on, but that should be straightforward. Let's have a quick look in there. You can see this does need a clean. But I mean, there's nothing there. Literally nothing there. All that is a connector for the various connectors, and there's like a little reset button there, the mode selector. So all of the logic is on this board here, and there's not much on there either. It's very, very, very small. But you know what? It's significant. I really like I really like how this works. And this is a bit pointless because you have to unscrew these things to get the drives out. It's not a hot swap. I guess it's a standardized case, so maybe there's better versions of this that actually have that as a feature, but this doesn't have it, most definitely. But it's never really been an issue, to be honest. I don't really care about that. It's just a nice, needs a serious clean, and I've got to sort the fan out. I guess the next step is to dismantle it and see if I can clean it up. This corrosion looks terrible on the back. I need to get a new fan, but I don't really want to put this back unless I can do something about that. That's just horrible. So, rule of thumb, something I keep forgetting to do is to take a picture of the back so I can make sure I know what all these bits and pieces are. If this gets rubbed off or comes away, then that would be no good. Also going to take a picture of the inside, and I think I probably need to just mark the drives. If I put T on there, I'm going to actually put top on there, then I'll put these drives in one place so I know where everything is, and that's all going to be good. So let's get the drives out first. Now this is quite a neat system because you can do that. Take these thumb screws out, and the drives just pop out. Now it's like a bit of cheat in some ways, because you look at it and think, oh, that's nice. You've got a flap that opens. Is it hot swap? It's not hot swap. Explicitly says it's not hot swap, and don't try it. So hey, here's what it is. So let's get the drives out. There's a 2 terabyte Western Digital there, another one there, identical drive there. I'll take that off. I think we only need to have that one marked as top, as long as I don't get it all mixed up. So the front bit, there seems to be some clips there to take the, yeah, that's quite easy. Take that, take the thingy out, hang on. Yeah, clip there, and a clip on the other side. That one does that one. Put it on. The ribbon cable goes there, so what I'll probably do is just take it off. Well, do I just take the whole board out? Well, I've got a picture of it, which is the handy bit, so if I take that out, it's going to be probably better. That's the front panel with the LEDs. Put that there. Now we just need to get the board out, and that control panel. Oh yeah, I'm going to have to take the. Oh, this, yeah, they've done this quite nicely. So the power switch is on a little connector. All very nice, and yeah, there's actually an additional header there. Well, no, that's for. So you've got the one for the fan, but there's another one. Well, I don't know what that's for. Anyway, I think what we do now is we just go down there with the screwdriver. Oh, that's not going to fit. Hang on a sec. Yeah, this is awkward. Whoa! Hang on a minute. Wait. Let's put that back. Yeah, that'll do. Not as good as the other one. I don't know where it's gone to. Okay. It's quite a modest little board. Not much going on in there, but it's enough logic to support the different schemes of RAID. And I've used it. So you can basically have it as 2 separate drives. If you've got 2 drives installed, you can have it 2 separate drives. Oops. Hang on, let me just get that out. Use it. Oh, I'm always doing that. Okay. There should be one more. Where's that? Where's the screw gone? Is there 4 there? No, shit. Where's it gone? Oh, it's in there. Yeah, so you can have it. If you've got 1 drive installed, you can have it as obviously one drive. If you've got multiple drives, installed. You can have it with 2 separate drives, or you can have it striped, so it treats 2 drives as 1 drive, which is quite cool. It's probably best to actually unplug that SATA cable there, he says, but there's loads of other cables attached. Tell you what, it's probably easier just to get the whole thing out. Down there's just a couple of screws. Take that off. Is it just 2? Yeah, it's just 2. Excellent. So in theory that whole thing should come out now. Slightly weird the way they've done it, because that SATA cable is preventing it from coming out easily. But there you go. We're getting there. We are going to have to unplug these, I think. Or maybe not. Wow, that SATA cable is really stiff. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, so you've got different modes. Standard, where you have the drives are addressed individually. You've got combined, so it adds the 2 drives together. You've got striping. So I think this is where you have alternate bits. So in combine, if you lose one of the drives, you've potentially still got the other drive, but yeah, whatever. With striping, you can get a performance improvement because it will read write to alternate drives. It means that if you lose one of the drives, you lose the whole lot data wise. And then you've got mirroring, where it read and writes each bit to each drive, each byte to each drive, for safety, and it should detect a drive failure and then give you the opportunity by changing the colour of these lights. So if it goes from green to solid red on one of those, you know it's an error, and you can have the opportunity to unplug it, and then it will rebuild the array if you put a new drive in. So that's happened to me once when I had this configured with a couple of 500 gig drives. Worked brilliantly, really good. I love the fact that this is so easy to use. Yeah. I've worked on a lot of RAID arrays in my time, and yeah, some of them are alright, but some of them less so. It can be very finicky, and you really need to test it. It would be great actually if you had access to a dodgy drive, i.e. a drive with either a known failure or a sort of dummy drive, which where you could induce a failure. That would be really cool, because then you could test these things before you invested in lots of new expensive lovely drives. You could test it and see if it worked, which would be good. Oh, there's some clips at the back there, but they're proving to be quite tricky. Let me see if I can help it. There we go. Sort of try and feed it in a little bit from the other side. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Right, so that's it. It's stripped. Get that connector through. There we go. And that needs a massive clean. So I'm going to put that in the sink, give it a scrub, and then I might see if I can remove some of that using some wire wool, gently rub it down. I don't think I need anything else. I mean, it's filthy on the other side, so it does need a clean regardless, even if this corrosion doesn't come off. So that's that. All this stuff is absolutely fine. Don't have to worry about that. Do I need to clean this? Well, I might as well. So if I just take the front panel off, then I can give this a good clean as well. I mean, it's covered in dust and horribleness. Anyway, quite a neat little array. I like that. I love the ribbon cable. Nice. Okay. These come out and go somewhere else. I was wondering whether, in actual fact, depending on the usage of this, if this was used relatively infrequently, maybe you wouldn't even need a fan. It's a tricky one. Obviously, 2 spinning drives, they do generate a bit of heat. I mean, there's no way around that. They do generate heat, but maybe not that much, really, to be fair. So, is it over the top of a fan? I don't know. It probably is. I'm going to try and find a replacement fan anyway. I've got lots of 120s, but this is an 80mm fan, so that's a bit annoying. Anyway, so it's pretty dusty and horrible. I wonder what the other connector is. Let me get my magnifiers and see. So there is the thingy. It's not marked with anything sensible, so it just says J8 and J9. I wonder what that's for, because there's only space for one fan. You wouldn't need two fans, that's mental. Yeah, maybe what this is a common board. This may be a common board for other things, perhaps, with multiple fans. I don't know. Seems a bit odd, because that would suggest. Well, no, I don't know. Anyway, that's the little reset thing there. So I think with that one, you can reset the whole array. You hold it down, and I believe it nukes your data. The case has been fully cleaned. Let's have another go in the dishwasher. And there's a few scratches, but actually it's come up quite well. This one's come up really well, actually. Fantastic. At the back, all the rust, pretty much all the rust has gone. So I used some wire wool and gently rubbed it down. A little bit of vinegar, soap and water. It was actually really bad on the other side, but all of that is now gone. So the surface blemishes, well, we have to live with that. This is the original fan, which is knackered, doesn't turn, and is pretty disgusting. So that goes into, oh, I managed to get it, the recycling bin, so that's good. Here is a replacement. So that looks much nicer, and hopefully that looks like it's the correct connector, which is really good. So now it's a case of reassembly. Let's get the front bezel on there, front display on there first. And that just connects up there, so obviously got to line up the LEDs and stuff. This goes on the front there, and there are just some clips. So that's that bit installed, which is good. We next need to get the fan configured. So as I recall, it is like that. So this goes onto here. Hopefully that'll fit. Yeah. Okay. So that goes like that. And I've just made a mistake because I've got to actually undo that so I can get the blooming screws in from the back into there. So if I put this in there, we can get one screw, and actually I didn't need to take that off. Flipping out, you idiot. I think I might put the cable that way, it's a bit higher. Okay, so I think that's all you need actually. I was being silly. Yeah. Now it doesn't have any kind of rubber bung or anything like that. You know, there's no rubber washer to isolate it. But I did wonder about that. Thought maybe it should have that. It didn't. This is the new fan, so hopefully it'll be alright. Okay, that's good. And the control board. So if we start plugging that in, so that gets plugged into there. This one, I'm going to plug it in the end here. There is as I mentioned, it's the wrong size. Okay, fine. This is where we're going to have to do a little bit of modification. Right, okay, bear with me a sec. The soldering iron's heating up, so I'm going to have to reuse this bit. So get the old fan. Can I get it in the bag from here? Oh, I missed. Damn. Oh, well. And I'm going to have to chop this fan off. I'm going to be quite generous because obviously this thing is potentially useful, but not for this because it doesn't fit. Not sure we're up to temperature yet. We'll just wait. And we'll have a look. Careful I don't drop any solder on this thing. In fact, you know what? I'm going to unplug that. That's better. Put the shrink wrap over the top. I'd love to get myself a little heat gun. I've seen these ones around, they look really cool, but I don't have one of them. Okay, that'll do. So simple fix. Let's get this reassembled. That goes in there. Just a power switch. Just switch this off for the time being. That goes into the parts bin, and this can now connect into there. All right. So there we go. Straightforward. Note. Now what we've got to do is find the largest screwdriver. Where's it gone? There we go. We'll probably need that one. It's assembled all of this stuff and put it in place before I put the fan in. Yeah, I can't actually assemble it. You can't assemble it with the fan in. Brilliant. Okay. Let me show you. So with the fan in place, I can't push the board in. So I think what I should have done is actually attach the control board or the interface board as the first thing, and then plug everything else in afterwards. I don't think that was the right way of doing it, simply because when I was disassembling it was a pain in the arse. But all pains in arses are relative, I suppose, and this pain in the arse is even more annoying because that is not a magnetic screwdriver. Or is that? What's happened to my old magnetic screwdrivers? It's happened the other day. I have to remagnetise them, I think. What that one is. And then I'm going to do it up completely because I might need some wiggle room. And I've got to take this bloody switch out. Bloody hell, I've not done this very well, have I? Oh no, I can do it. I can do it. So next thing is to put that other screw in there. You probably can't see any of this, I apologise. Let me turn it round. I put that other screw in there, and I was worried that I couldn't get in there, but I've got quite a long screwdriver there, so that one's good. And that one's good. Yeah, disassembly was a bit of a pain because I had to jiggle around all this kind of stuff, but with that now in there, pretty much everything is assembled and plugged in apart from the LED board. But that's I think I need to get this on next again. Yeah, with that in place, oops. Should now be able to put the SATA connection board, basically the main control board, the gubbins of it, with the drive connectors on it, put that, assemble that, and screw it into place. So that goes like that. Get one screw in and the rest will follow. Use this flap here to get to it. Before I totally button this up, now the ribbon cable, I made a note of it. I actually took a picture. You can see on the board you've got it does tell you, so pin 16 there, so you know that is that. I mean, that's the only way the cable can go in and be straight, but it's good to make a note of these things. I wish I'd made a better note, to be honest, about how to put the bloody fan in now. Oh well, never mind. So I'll just mess this up again. I was wondering why it wasn't going in, and I made a stupid error. Another stupid error. Which is that these two cables, the reason why it's fighting me is these two cables, the SATA cable and the I'm not sure what it is. This cable for the control board that I've done at the bottom for the switches and buttons and stuff like that is should be looped over there. What a cock up. Right, let's see if we can take the SATA cable out. And this ribbon cable here. Trouble is, that is actually jammed into there. Right. Silly R switch. Okay. So all of those cables actually go that way. Flipping heck. Oh well. So let's see if we can get these in. I bet you it's going to go in so easily now. Yeah, it's annoying. Oh God, how silly. That's silly of me. Okay, well that was really easy if you put it, you actually pay attention. Right, lesson learned. Now it's a case of putting these screws in here. Oh, bloody hell. And the last screw goes in there, which I'm almost certainly going to drop. Oh no. Okay, good. That was a rigmarole. Okay, so the next thing is to install the drives. Now I did put top on there, so I know that one's at the top. There you go, that fits nice. And the other one fits nice. And I can feel the clunk of the cables, the SATA cables. Now there's only one screw on each side. It doesn't need any more than that. It wasn't the originals, I just found these. I prefer these little thumb screw things. It's just nice. And there's a few, but I've got two more thumb screw ones for the rear of the case, which is nice. Right, so before I button this up, let's power it up and see what happens. This is it buttoned up. I've got a nice power supply here. Actually, it's got a really positive, decent connection to there. That mechanically, the one that came with it was actually always a little bit dodgy. But this one is 12 volt, 3 amps. So it's got more than enough guts, and it seems to work. Slightly louder than I was hoping, but then the case is open and it doesn't make a horrible grunting noise. This one's really only for backup anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. Just slightly louder than I'd hoped. Right. Gently move this round. Oh, I haven't actually put that case on properly. That's why it was a big grumbling. Okay, so there was some flashing on there, and looking over at my PC, it's recognised the drive, which is good. So you know, that's all working. It is noisier than I was hoping. That's supposed to be a quiet fan. I'm not sure I class that as quiet, but then it's only a backup device. So yeah, certainly not going to get hot. There's a lot of airflow in there, hell of a lot of airflow. In fact, you can feel it from the front, like loads. That's good. I mean, I only use this for backup, and the horrible grunting noise from the other fan is not good. So yeah, I'll class that as a success. I think you have to look at the eBay listings with some skepticism when it comes to fans and how ultra quiet they are, because they kind of ain't. Anyway, I might revisit that and see if I can change it for something. But like I say, this is only for a backup anyway, so it's not used all the time. Anyway, yeah, see you next time. Cheers.